The night was cold and silent. The broken forest stretched for miles around the old crash site. Daniel moved carefully, his boots pressing against the damp ground. He was searching for spare tech parts, hoping to find anything useful for his abandoned ship. As he stepped over a fallen tree, a strange sound reached his ears. It was soft, almost too soft to notice. Like a tiny cry mixed with the wind, Daniel stopped, holding his breath. There it was again, a faint whimper. He turned his flashlight toward the sound. The beam cut through the mist, revealing twisted metal from the old wreck. Between the wreckage, something small was moving. Daniel walked closer, his steps slow and quiet. There, trapped under a broken piece of metal, was a small creature. It was no bigger than a cat, with silver fur that shimmered faintly under the light. Its big glowing eyes looked at him, full of fear and pain. Daniel crouched down, speaking softly. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." His hands carefully reached for the sharp metal. The creature flinched but didn't pull away. He could see its tiny paw stuck under the debris. With steady hands, Daniel lifted the jagged piece of wreckage, ignoring the way it cut into his gloves. The creature let out a soft sound, a strange musical chirp. Finally, the metal gave way, and its paw was free. Daniel wrapped the little creature in his jacket to keep it warm. It trembled against his chest, its fur soft like silk. "What are you doing out here, huh?" he murmured with a small smile. Then something strange happened. As he held it, the creature's glowing eyes locked onto his. For a moment, Daniel felt a wave of warmth flow through his hands. It wasn't just an animal. There was something more. Something intelligent. He started walking back to his ship, holding the small creature close. But halfway through the forest, the air changed. The soft sound of footsteps echoed behind him, heavy and deliberate. Daniel's heart began to pound. He didn't look back. He tightened his grip on the creature and moved faster. The footsteps followed, crunching the ground in the dark. Finally, he reached his ship, an old rusting vessel hidden among the trees. He rushed inside and slammed the door shut, locking it. His breathing was heavy, but the sound outside stopped. Daniel placed the small creature gently on a soft blanket. It curled up, making a low humming sound. The soft glow from its eyes filled the small cabin with light. He sat on the floor across from it, staring. "You're not just some lost animal, are you?" he whispered. The creature lifted its head and stared back. Then Daniel heard it, a voice, but not through his ears. It echoed inside his mind, soft and fragile. "Thank you." Daniel, he froze. His eyes darted to the creature. His heart skipped a beat. Did you just talk?" The creature's body began to glow. Silver light wrapped around it like a cocoon. Daniel backed up against the wall, eyes wide. Before his very eyes, the small animal began to change. Its tiny body stretched, the fur melting into smooth pale skin. The shape shifted, bones adjusting, until an alien girl knelt on the blanket where the creature had been. Her hair was the same silver color, and her glowing eyes watched him with a mix of fear and relief. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. He couldn't find words. What are you?" The girl's voice was soft, her lips trembling. "You saved me. I was trapped. I didn't think anyone would find me." Daniel shook his head in disbelief. You're not human." She looked down, wrapping her arms around herself. "No. But you still helped me. That means they will come." Daniel frowned. "Who will come?" Before she could answer, a loud metallic bang shook the ship's hull. The sound echoed through the cabin like thunder. Daniel jumped to his feet. The girl's glowing eyes widened in fear. "They found me," she whispered. Daniel grabbed the nearest tool, his heart pounding. The sound of footsteps and scraping metal surrounded the outside of the ship. Something was out there, and it was getting closer. He looked back at the girl. She stared at him with a mixture of hope and terror. Her voice trembled as she spoke again. "Daniel, please, don't let them take me." The lights in the cabin flickered as another heavy bang hit the door. Daniel tightened his grip on the tool in his hand. his mind racing. He didn't know what he had just brought into his ship, but one thing was clear: whatever was outside wasn't here to help. And in that moment, Daniel realized his quiet scavenger life had just ended, and something far bigger was about to begin. Asterisk. The ship's wall shook again as the loud metallic bang echoed through the cabin. Daniel stood frozen for a second, his eyes darting between the locked door and the alien girl kneeling on the blanket. Her silver eyes were wide, glowing faintly. In the dim light, "Who's out there?" Daniel whispered, his voice low and tense. The girl's lips parted, her voice soft but sharp with fear. "Hunters. They followed me. If they find me, they won't stop until I'm gone." Another crash hit the side of the ship. The sound of scraping metal followed, like claws dragging across the hull. Daniel's grip on the heavy wrench tightened. He wasn't a soldier, just a scavenger. But something deep inside told him running wasn't an option now. "Is there another way out?" he asked quickly. The girl shook her head, her silver hair falling over her face. "They have the ship surrounded. They can sense me," Daniel cursed under his breath. He moved to the control panel and shut down all external lights. The ship went dark except for the soft silver glow coming from her eyes. He crouched in front of her, his voice urgent. "Listen, if I open that door and they see you, what will they do?" Her voice cracked. "They'll take me back. And you. They'll erase you." Daniel's stomach twisted. "Erase?" "Your mind, your memories. Everything," she whispered. Her glowing eyes met his. "Please, don't let them take me." A voice boomed from outside, metallic and cold. "Open the door, human. You have something that does not belong to you." Daniel froze. His breath caught in his throat. The alien girl shook her head violently, her voice trembling in his mind. "Don't answer. Don't speak to them." The voice came again, louder. This time, last warning. "Open the door, or we will cut our way in." The ship vibrated as something heavy landed on the hull. Daniel felt sweat drip down his neck. He glanced at the girl. "What are you?" he whispered. "Why are they after you?" Her silver eyes shimmered. "Because I'm not supposed to exist." Before he could ask more, sparks rained down from the door as a glowing blue line began to slice through the metal. Daniel jumped to his feet. "They're cutting through." The girl scrambled to her feet, panic flashing across her face. "We can't fight them head on. They're stronger than you." "Stronger than me." Daniel's mind raced. He looked at the floor panel beneath the old cargo bay. He remembered the hidden maintenance tunnel that ran under the ship. He turned to her. "Follow me." She hesitated, staring at the door as the glowing cut widened. Her voice was faint. "You don't even know what I am. Why are you helping me?" Daniel grabbed her hand without thinking. Her skin was warm, almost electric. "Because I found you. And I'm not about to hand you over." The girl's breath hitched. For a moment, her glowing eyes softened. Then another loud crash shook the cabin, and she nodded quickly. Daniel pulled the floor panel open and motioned her inside. The tunnel was small, just enough space to crawl through. He dropped in first, the cold metal scraping his hands. She followed right after, her silver glow lighting the narrow path. Above them, the door finally gave way. A deafening crash echoed through the ship as heavy footsteps entered the cabin. The metallic voice spoke again, colder now. "She is near. I can feel her." Daniel pushed forward as fast as he could, the tunnel twisting under the ship. His heart pounded in his chest. The girl crawled right behind him, her soft breath quick and scared. Suddenly, a beam of blue light cut through the tunnel wall just inches behind them. The girl let out a small gasp, and Daniel grabbed her arm, pulling her forward. "Move! Go, go!" The tunnel ended at a rusted hatch that opened to the forest outside. Daniel shoved it open, the cool night air hitting his face. He climbed out and helped her up. The forest was silent, too silent. Daniel grabbed her hand again and they ran. The glow of her eyes was like a beacon in the dark. He wanted to tell her to dim it, but before he could, a shadow moved in the trees ahead. Daniel skidded to a stop, pulling her behind him, a tall figure. Stepped out of the mist, its eyes glowing blue. Its voice was calm and deadly. "You can't run, human." "She is ours." The girl clung to Daniel's arm, her voice shaking. "Please, don't let them take me." Daniel stood his ground, his chest rising and falling fast. He didn't know what this girl was or why the hunters wanted her, but he knew one thing: he couldn't give her up. "Then you'll have to go through me," Daniel said, his voice low and steady. The hunter tilted its head, the blue glow in its eyes flashing. "So be it." The forest exploded with light as more figures stepped out of the shadows. Surrounding them, Daniel tightened his grip on the girl's hand. His mind screamed at him to run, but there was nowhere left to go. And just as the first hunter raised its weapon, the girl whispered something in a language Daniel couldn't understand. The air around them shimmered, and the world itself seemed to bend. The forest froze. The air around Daniel and the alien girl rippled like water disturbed by a stone. The hunters stopped moving, their glowing blue eyes flickering as if they sensed something was wrong. Daniel tightened his grip on the girl's hand. His voice was a whisper. "What did you just do?" The girl's silver eyes glowed brighter. Her voice trembled. "I didn't want to use it. But we have no choice." A sudden pulse of energy burst from her body. It wasn't light. It wasn't sound. It was something Daniel felt deep inside his bones. The hunters staggered, their weapons sparking. One of them roared, a metallic voice breaking. "Contain her." Now, Daniel didn't wait. "Run!" he shouted, pulling her through the trees. The forest blurred as they moved. Every step echoed with the sound of their hearts pounding in sync. Branches whipped past his face as they stumbled through the darkness. Behind them, the hunters were regrouping, blue lights flashing between the trees like ghostly fireflies. Finally, they slid behind a large rock formation. Daniel pressed his back against the cold stone, breathing hard. The girl collapsed beside him, her glowing eyes dimming. Daniel looked at her, his voice sharp but low. "Okay. Time to talk. What are you? What was that?" She closed her eyes for a moment, her silver hair clinging to her face. "My people call it the veil. It hides us between worlds. But I'm not strong enough to hold it long." Daniel frowned, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Between worlds? You mean you're not just an alien? You're from somewhere else entirely." Her lips curved into a faint, sad smile. "Not a planet. Not a place you can see with your eyes. My kind lives in the spaces between reality, the hunters. They were made to find us if we ever crossed over." Daniel stared at her, trying to understand. "So, you're saying you're not supposed to exist here?" She nodded slowly. "I wasn't supposed to take a physical form. But I wanted to see what it was like, to be alive." Her voice cracked on the last word. Daniel's chest tightened. He didn't understand all of it, but he could feel the weight of her words. She wasn't just running from enemies. She was running from a fate she wasn't meant to escape. The ground beneath them suddenly vibrated, the sound of heavy steps. Approached, the girl's eyes widened, the veil broke. "They can see us again." Daniel peeked over the rock, his stomach dropped. 3 hunters were scanning the area, their weapons glowing. Their voices echoed through the trees. "She is near. Do not let the human interfere." He ducked back. Down, his mind racing. "Okay, think. There's no way we can outrun them forever." The girl's voice was faint. "You can still leave me. If they take me, they might let you live." Daniel turned to her sharply. "Not a chance. I didn't pull you out of that wreck just to hand you over." Her silver eyes glistened as if she wanted to argue but couldn't. For the first time, Daniel saw something human in her expression: fear, hope, and something else he couldn't name. The hunter's steps grew louder. Daniel grabbed her hand again. "Is there anything else you can do? Another power thing?" She shook her head. "Not unless I bond." Daniel blinked. "Bond? What does that mean?" She hesitated, her voice a whisper. "If I bond with a human, I can anchor myself fully in this world. They won't be able to pull me back, but it will tie our lives together. Daniel stared at her, his mind spinning. Tie our lives. As in if you die, I die? She nodded slowly. And if you die, I disappear. The sound of metal scraping against stone made them both flinch. The hunters were right on the other side of the rock. Daniel didn't think twice. His voice was steady, even though his heart was pounding. Do it. Her silver eyes widened. You don't even know me. Daniel gave a shaky smile. I don't have to. I know I can't let you go. For a moment, time seemed to pause. The girl placed her hand over his chest. Her skin was warm. And suddenly, Daniel felt a rush of energy flood into him. It wasn't painful. It was like every heartbeat was being shared between them. Her voice echoed in his mind, soft but powerful. It's done. We are one now. The hunters moved around the rock, weapons raised. But before they could fire, Daniel felt something surge through his veins. His vision flickered silver, matching the girl's glowing eyes. The closest hunter raised its weapon. You can't protect her, human. A blast of pure energy erupted from Daniel's hands, throwing the hunter back into the trees with a crash. He stared at his own fingers. Glowing faintly with silver light, the girl pulled herself to her feet, her voice steady for the first time. Now. We fight together. The forest lit up with blue and silver as the hunters charged. And Daniel realized his life had just changed forever. Asterisk, the air smelled of ozone. As the silver light faded from Daniel's hands, he could still feel the warmth of the alien girl's touch lingering in his chest. Every beat of his heart now echoed with hers, a strange rhythm that made him feel both terrified and alive. The hunters recovered quickly. Their glowing blue eyes locked on the two of them. One of them spoke in its cold metallic voice. The bond is complete. This changes nothing. You will both be erased. Daniel stepped in front of the girl instinctively. You're not taking her. The lead hunter tilted its head slightly. You don't understand, human. You are no longer just yourself. You are now part of what should never exist. The words sent a chill down Daniel's spine. But before he could respond, the girl's voice filled his mind, soft and urgent. Daniel, we can't stay here. The bond is fresh. It's unstable. If they break it now, we both die. He didn't argue. He grabbed her hand, the silver glow between their fingers sparking faintly. They ran deeper into the forest as the hunters gave chase. Blue beams of energy sliced through the trees, leaving smoking holes in their wake. Daniel's lungs burned as they moved. But something was different now. He was faster, sharper. Every step he took felt guided by her energy flowing through him. When he leaped over a fallen log, he swore he felt his feet barely touch the ground. They slid down a slope and ducked under a thick cluster of roots. Daniel pressed his back against the damp earth. Breathing hard, the girl leaned against him, her glowing eyes searching his face. You feel it, don't you? She whispered. Daniel swallowed hard. Yeah. Like I can hear you even when you're not speaking. She nodded. That's the bond. Your mind and body are linked to mine now. It makes us stronger. But it also makes us easier to find. Daniel peeked through the roots. The hunters were scanning the area above, their glowing blue lights sweeping over the ground like search beams. He turned back to her. If the bond makes us easier to find, we need to put as much distance as we can between us and them. Her voice trembled. Distance won't matter if they bring the collector. Daniel frowned. Collector? That doesn't sound good. Her silver eyes dimmed slightly. It's worse than the hunters. It doesn't erase. It consumes. If it catches us, there will be nothing left of you or me. Daniel tightened his jaw. Then we don't let it catch us. Suddenly, the ground under them shook. A low hum filled the air, deep and vibrating. The girl's grip on his hand tightened until it almost hurt. Her voice in his mind was panicked. Daniel, it's here. The collector is here. A beam of dark light cut through the trees in the distance, swallowing everything it touched into a void-like blackness. The sound was like 1,000 whispers layered over each other. Daniel's stomach twisted at the sight. He pulled her to her feet. We need to move now. They ran, their feet pounding against the earth as the hum grew louder. The collector moved like a shadow made of machinery, sliding through the forest with impossible speed. The hunters followed behind it, their voices cold and mechanical, as they ran. Daniel felt a sharp pain in his chest. He stumbled for a moment, clutching the spot where the girl had touched him when they bonded. She gasped and held the same spot on her chest. The bond! She cried, "It's too new. The strain is pulling us apart." Daniel grit his teeth, forcing himself to keep moving. What happens if it breaks? She looked at him with fear in her glowing eyes. "We both die, Daniel." The pain worsened. As they reached the edge of the forest, beyond the trees was a wide stretch of broken ground leading to the remains of an old outpost. Daniel's eyes scanned the ruins. "There! We can hide inside." They sprinted across the open ground, the hum of the collector growing louder with every step. The ruins loomed ahead, jagged metal and broken walls, offering a fragile hope. They stumbled into the outpost and ducked behind a rusted control console. Daniel pressed his back to the cold metal. Panting, the girl knelt beside him, her silver glow dimming as she clutched her chest. "We can't run forever," she whispered. "If we don't stabilize the bond, we won't survive the next hour." Daniel looked at her, sweat dripping down his face. "How do we stabilize it?" Her voice was soft, almost hesitant. "You have to trust me completely. No walls, no secrets. You have to let me see all of you." Daniel blinked. "All of me? I don't even know if I trust myself half the time." Her glowing eyes met his, serious and calm despite the fear in the air. "If you don't, the bond will snap, and we'll both be gone before the hunters or the collector even reach us." Daniel exhaled slowly, looking into her silver eyes. For the first time since he found her, he realized this wasn't just about saving her anymore. Their lives were now one thread, and if that thread broke, everything ended. Outside, the hum of the collector stopped. The forest went silent. That silence was worse than any noise. The girl closed her eyes, her voice in his mind. "Daniel, trust me, or we both disappear." Daniel reached out and held her hand again, his voice steady despite the fear. "All right, no walls, no secrets. You see everything." As their fingers intertwined, the silver glow flared bright, and Daniel felt the world around him dissolve into light. Daniel couldn't feel the cold floor anymore. He couldn't hear the hum of the collector or the metallic footsteps of the hunters outside. Instead, there was light, soft silver light that wrapped around him like a gentle current. He opened his eyes and found himself standing in an endless space. It wasn't a forest or the ship. It was something else, something inside the bond. The alien girl stood a few feet away. Her silver hair floated as if moved by an unseen wind. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever, and for the first time, she looked calm. Daniel turned in a slow circle. Where are we?" Her voice echoed softly around him, though her lips barely moved. "Inside us. This is the heart of the bond, a place where our lives meet." Daniel looked down at his hands. They glowed faintly. The same silver as her eyes. He swallowed hard. "You said you needed to see all of me. What does that mean exactly?" She stepped closer, her voice gentle. "It means no hiding. No fear. I will see every memory, every choice, every part of you that makes you who you are." Daniel hesitated. A part of him wanted to pull away. But then he saw the faint cracks of light running across her skin. She was breaking apart. The bond wasn't stable yet. He nodded slowly. "All right. Do it." She reached out and touched his chest again. This time, instead of warmth, Daniel felt a flood of images and emotions rush through him. He saw his own childhood flash like lightning, the long nights scavenging scraps to survive, the first time he fixed a broken transmitter with his bare hands, the lonely silence of the forest after the crash. Her voice filled his mind, soft and curious. "You've been alone for so long." Daniel gave a shaky laugh. "Yeah, guess I got used to it." She tilted her head, studying the images. "And yet, when you found me, you didn't hesitate." Daniel met her glowing eyes. No one deserves to be left behind, not even a silver glowing. Whatever you are. For a second, she smiled a real, warm smile that made the silver light flare around them. But then, her body shook, and the cracks in her skin spread further. Daniel's chest tightened. Hey, stay with me. Her voice trembled. It's not enough. You saw me. Now I need to show you me. Before he could respond, the silver light shifted, and suddenly Daniel wasn't seeing his memories anymore. He was seeing hers. He stood in a vast shimmering void, like a sea of stars and rivers of light flowing in every direction. In the distance, he saw tall, graceful figures made of the same silver glow as the girl. They didn't walk, they floated. Their voices were soft harmonies blending together. Daniel whispered, "This is your home." Her voice was a whisper in his mind. Yes, we are the between. We exist in the spaces you can't see. But I wanted more. I wanted to feel what it's like to live in a body. To be real, Daniel turned to her. And they want to drag you back because you broke some kind of rule? Her silver eyes dimmed slightly. Because if I stay, the wall between worlds weakens, and everything you know could fall apart. Daniel ran a hand through his hair, laughing under his breath. Great. So saving you might break the universe. She stepped closer, her hand trembling as it reached for his. I didn't mean for you to get caught in this. But now we are one. If I vanish, you vanish. Daniel squeezed her hand. Then we make sure neither of us vanishes, got it? The silver light flared again, and suddenly the endless space cracked like glass. The sound of the collectors' hum returned. The outpost walls flickered back into existence around them. Daniel gasped, the bond space vanishing in a blink. He was back on the cold floor, clutching the girl's hand. The glow between them was stronger now, steady and bright. She opened her eyes slowly, her voice soft but sure. The bond is stable. We are safe. Daniel barely had a second to breathe before the wall of the outpost exploded inward. The collector's dark shape filled the gap, its swirling black void reaching for them. Daniel stood, pulling her behind him. The silver light pulsed through his veins again, stronger than before. The collector's voice was 1,000 whispers speaking as one. You do not belong. You will both be undone. Daniel smirked despite the fear in his chest. Yeah, you'll have to try. Harder than that. He raised his hands, the silver glow bursting to life. The girl stepped beside him, her own light merging with his. Together, they formed a single wave of silver energy. When the collector's void reached them, the silver light collided with it. The air cracked, the ground shook, and for the first time, the collector stumbled back. Daniel turned to the girl, his voice steady. Guess we fight together now. Her lips curved into a small smile. Yes. And for the first time, I'm not afraid. Asterisk, the collector roared, if it could even be called a roar. The sound was like metal grinding against metal. 1,000 broken voices speaking at once. The air around Daniel and the alien girl vibrated with power. Daniel felt the silver energy pulse through his veins. Every breath he took was in sync with hers. Every heartbeat felt shared. He glanced at her. How long can we hold this? Her glowing eyes stayed locked on the swirling black void ahead. Not long. Unless we end it here. Daniel tightened his grip on her hand. Then we end it. The collector surged forward, its dark tendrils slicing through the air. Daniel swung his arm instinctively, and a wave of silver light shot out, colliding with the void. The ground cracked under the force. The hunters behind the collector stumbled back, their glowing eyes flickering in panic. The girl's voice echoed in Daniel's mind. Daniel, listen to me. The bond can do more than protect us. It can destroy them. But it will cost something. Daniel grit his teeth. What kind of cost? Her voice trembled. A part of you. A part of me. We won't be the same after. He gave a short, humorless laugh. Pretty sure we weren't going to be the same after this anyway. Before she could respond, the collector slammed its tendrils into the ground. A wave of black energy rippled toward them. Daniel pulled her close, and together they raised their joined hands. The silver light flared, creating a barrier that cracked but held. The girl winced, her voice sharp in his mind. "We can't just block it. We need to strike at its core." Daniel's eyes darted across the collector's shifting shape. "Core? Where?" Her silver eyes locked on the swirling mass at the center of its chest. "There." "But we have to hit it together," Daniel nodded. "Then let's finish this." They ran forward, the silver glow around them burning brighter with every step. The collector lashed out with its tendrils, each one slicing through trees and metal. Like paper, Daniel ducked under one and jumped over another, his movements faster and sharper than human reflexes. The girl moved with him perfectly, as if their bodies were one. When they reached the center, they both thrust their hands forward. The silver energy erupted in a beam that cut straight into the collector's core. The world exploded in light and sound. The ground shook violently. And Daniel felt the energy tear through him. For a terrifying moment, he couldn't tell where his body ended and hers began. The collector screamed, its voice shattering into 1,000 echoes as its dark form began to break apart. The hunters fell to their knees, their blue lights flickering out one by one. Then everything went silent. The black void collapsed inward, and with one final shudder, the collector was gone. Daniel stumbled to his knees, gasping for air. The silver glow around him dimmed to a faint shimmer. He looked over at the girl. She was on the ground beside him. Her silver hair spread around her like a halo. Her chest rose and fell slowly. He reached out and touched her hand. "Hey, you okay?" Her eyes fluttered open, glowing faint but warm. "We did it." "It's gone." Daniel let out a shaky laugh. "Yeah, we actually did it." The forest around them was silent. The hunters were gone. The collector was nothing but fading shadows. It should have felt like victory, but as Daniel looked at the girl, he noticed something that made his stomach twist. Her silver glow was fading, not just dimming, disappearing. Hey, no, don't do that," Daniel said quickly, his voice cracking. "Stay with me." Her voice was soft, barely a whisper. "The bond. We used too much." "I'm slipping." Daniel grabbed her shoulders, his heart pounding. No, you can't slip. You said if you go, I go." She smiled faintly. "Then maybe we go together." Daniel shook his head violently. "No. We survived the hunters. We killed that thing. We are not ending here." Her glowing eyes looked into his, calm despite the fear in his voice. "Daniel, listen to me. There might be a way, but you have to choose." He swallowed hard. "Choose what?" Her voice trembled. "If I let go of the bond, you live. But I disappear forever. If we hold on, maybe we both survive. Or maybe we both die." Daniel stared at her, his hands shaking. The forest felt too quiet, the choice too heavy. He could feel the bond flickering inside his chest like a candle about to go out. He leaned closer, his forehead touching hers. "You're not going anywhere without me. We finish this together. Or not at all." For the first time, tears glimmered in her silver eyes. She squeezed his hand weakly. "Then hold on to me. No matter what happens." Daniel closed his eyes, focusing every bit of himself on that single thought. Hold on. The silver glow between them flared one last time, bright enough to blind the night. The forest vanished in light. When Daniel opened his eyes, the world was quiet. No humming from the collector, no heavy footsteps from hunters, no sound of wind through broken trees. Just silence and a faint silver glow hanging in the air like mist. He sat up slowly, his body ached as if he had run for days. His first thought wasn't of himself, it was of her. "Hey, are you here?" he whispered, his voice breaking. A soft hum answered him, and he turned to see her lying beside him. The alien girl's silver hair spread across the ground. Her chest rose and fell in slow, shallow breaths. Daniel let out sound that was half a laugh and half a sob. He crawled closer and touched her hand gently. "You held on." Her glowing eyes opened slowly, weaker than before but still there. "So did you," she whispered. Daniel smiled through the tears that burned his eyes. "Guess that makes us both stubborn." The forest around them didn't look the same anymore. The trees were still there, but the air felt different. Softer, warmer, almost alive. It was as if the bond between them had left a mark on the world itself. The girl sat up slowly, her movements shaky. Daniel helped her, keeping his arm around her shoulders. "Is it over?" he asked quietly. She looked around, her silver eyes scanning the forest. "The hunters, the collector, they're gone." The bond pushed them back into the between. They won't come again. Not for a long time. Daniel let out a deep breath, the tension leaving his body for the first time in what felt like forever. "Good. Because I don't think I could do that again." For a moment, they sat in silence, just breathing. Daniel glanced at her, studying the faint glow of her skin. "So, what happens now? You can't exactly go back to wherever you came from, right?" Her eyes softened. "No. If I go back, the bond breaks, and we both vanish. I chose to stay with you." Daniel blinked, surprised by how much those words hit him. He gave a small, tired laugh. "Well, I wasn't planning on letting you leave anyway." She tilted her head slightly. "Humans are strange. You save a creature you don't understand. You fight hunters and a collector without knowing why. And now you tie your life to mine without regret." Daniel shrugged with a crooked smile. "Yeah, well, guess we're just stubborn that way." The girl looked at him for a long moment, her silver eyes reflecting something soft, something human. "Thank you for giving me this chance to live." Daniel's smile faded into something more serious. "You're not just living now. You're not running or hiding anymore. You're here. You're real." The soft light of dawn began to creep through the trees, turning the mist into shades of gold and silver. The girl reached out and touched his chest where the bond's energy still pulsed faintly. "Do you feel it?" she asked softly. Daniel nodded. "Yeah. Like it's a part of me now, like you're a part of me." Her lips curved into a small, gentle smile. "We are one now. No matter what comes." He stood slowly, helping her to her feet. The world felt different, not just because of what happened, but because of what they had become. Daniel glanced at the rising sun. "So, what do we do now?" She tilted her head, her silver hair catching the light. "We live." Daniel laughed softly at the simplicity of her answer. "Yeah, I can work with that." They started walking through the forest together, the ground soft under their steps. Every now and then, Daniel glanced at her, still half expecting her to vanish like a dream, but she didn't. Every time their hands brushed, the faint silver spark reminded him she was real. When they reached the edge of the trees, Daniel paused, staring out at the broken remains of the world beyond, the rusting ships, the scattered ruins, the empty horizon. It wasn't much, but for the first time in years, it didn't feel lonely. The girl stepped beside him, her silver eyes taking in the view. "Is this what being alive feels like?" she whispered. Daniel smiled. "Yeah. Messy, broken, but worth every second." She slipped her hand into his, the silver glow between them soft and steady now. No hunters, no collectors, no fear. Just two lives tied together in a world that suddenly felt new. As the sun rose higher, painting the sky in gold, Daniel whispered the only thing that felt right. "Welcome home." The alien girl leaned her head against his shoulder, her voice a soft hum. Home. And for the first time Daniel believed it.